Okay, Aris. This is so exciting. I'm so excited.
So good to see you, especially on a day like today, right?
Christmas. It's Christmas Eve.
You guys both got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, and that's what I like to hear. Rocco, maybe do a little cameo.
You do come in. Yeah, you should do a cameo.
Should I get in there?
Yeah, obviously. Oh, okay.
Aww.
Now, little
This
kiss, even if it's on the cheek, just do a kiss. Oh, that's what we call love right there.
Special day.
Yeah.
We had a big moment today.
All right, Rocco, out of the shot. Now let's go. JK, so today was a big day.
Mm-hmm.
It's Christmas Eve.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what that means, right?
What does it mean? Jesus?
Oh, that too. It's typically very cold weather, though, is what I was going to say.
It was pretty perfect today.
It was very cozy, though, and you guys got a great day.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was really perfect today. The weather was really perfect today. It was, honestly amazing. Rocco and I got engaged today, which was really special.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say. Mm-hmm. That does not happen every day.
And that's crazy. Okay, Aris, what was your favorite part of the day?
Where are we right now?
In your life?
New York City.
New York City.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
What was the question again?
What was the favorite part of your day?
Oof, gosh. You know, between so many highs and so many lows. Yeah, of course, please. I think my favorite part of the day was probably, I was up at Central Park today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was over here by this little pond. And I was on this bridge, and I saw my little sister get proposed to by my boy Rocco. That was my favorite part of the day, obviously. Other than that, my favorite part of the day, I liked my fish a lot. It was good.
Today was good?
Salmon was good, yeah. But
our Christmas dinner.
Our Christmas Eve dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was your favorite part of the day?
Probably an hour ago after I got proposed to when I came to this room and I talked to Rocco.
Aww.
And I was like, I love you.
Aww.
Yeah, after the dust settled.
That is sweet, yeah. Like you had some time to decompress.
Yeah.
Oh, also, when you guys were doing that, I was in church.
You were in church?
Yeah. And that was actually really, I'm not a big church-going person, but that was actually really nice because they were singing a song that I love.
What were they singing?
Green Sleeves, which I didn't even
know. Can you
know.
sing it?
No, I didn't even know the lyrics until...
What is it?
Well, I don't know. Let me tell you right now.
Green Sleeves?
Yeah, you know Green Sleeves. It's like...
No, I don't think I do.
It's on here somewhere. I don't know where. They have so many hymns, and anyway, that was also a highlight as well. I think.
Can I see?
Yeah, please. But I'm keeping it.
Okay, let's see.
You guys are going right now.
Was it powerful?
I'm kidding. You should take it because you might need to.
Yeah, we need to go back. We didn't go to church. We need to go to church.
Yeah. Just
Wait,
so
where is
everyone on the podcast knows, they have a church call in about. Ooh.
30 minutes?
No, in about
10 minutes?
3 minutes, I would say.
Oh wow.
But it's okay, it's on the block, so. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Oh, Green Sleeves, I found it. It says, "Why lies he in such mean estate, where ox ass are feeding? Good Christian fear for sinners
ass.
here. Ox and ass are feeding.
Gross.
Good Christian fear for sinners here. The silent word is pleading. Refrain. So bring him in Ensis golden mirth, come pleasant king to own him. The King of Kings salvation brings, let loving hearts enthrone him." It's pretty beautiful.
Yeah, right? I really love it.
Which part?
The whole thing. I don't know what it's about really, but I really
Jesus, maybe?
I think it's about when he got picked up by the three kings. Maybe that didn't even happen.
Let loving hearts enthrone him.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty.
Okay, you guys are gonna be over there in a second, so you'll be able to.
We can listen to it.
Okay,
Aris,
keep this if you need, but I'm also gonna need it because it's just fantastic.
It is.
I need to learn these hymns. I want to start going to that church also.
Really?
It's fantastic.
Was it?
It's beautiful.
Okay, we're gonna go in a second. We're gonna go there.
That's really nice. That's the first time, and just for point of reference, context, whatever. I lived in New York for a while. I'm talking to the podcasters. I lived in New York for a while. Initially moved here in 2008. Anyway, for about 11 years off and on during that point. But I lived with Hannah right around the corner.
Really?
Yeah, this right here where I am right here was my friend William Battiello's place right across from Webster Hall. Hannah and I lived on the other side of the block on 10th Street. And
So you spent a lot of time around here.
I did, but like there was nothing really going on. There used to be a bar right across the street that I used to DJ at.
You live pretty much a lot of like New York, no?
Yeah.
Cause now you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah, which I actually always avoided, but now I kind of don't mind it. I mean, I won't be there forever, but it's fine for now.
Mm-hmm.
It's very time and a place, but it's good. I can't complain for now.
Why do you think you moved out here in the first place?
Great question. You know, when I first moved out here in 2008, right before that, I was living in Portland, Oregon. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah, with their grandpa and grandma.
Yeah. Well, I was living with them, and then they moved to Tucson. And then I was living with my friend Paris and some other Matt
He
DeRosa.
babysat us.
The what?
Paris babysat us.
He did, yeah, when you guys were younger. And then one night, I decided to get a ticket to New York, and I don't remember much of it, but I woke up with the email saying that I had a ticket to New York, and that was exciting.
You just bought it, and then you're just on a whim, or what?
Yeah, I bought it, but it wasn't for like another month and a half out or something. And I was working at Diesel at the time in the Pearl District, which it was fine. I didn't really enjoy it, obviously. It was pretty miserable. And eventually I was like, I told them, I was like, hey, I'm moving to New York. And they got so sassy with me. They were like, oh, you're going to get chewed up out there. And I was like, whatever. Anyway, I did it. And it was very difficult for the first few years. I mean, it's a pain in the ass city. It's fine. Do I love living here? Was that your next question?
Sure.
No, I don't really love living here, but it's good. I get things done, and there's a lot of opportunity here that I can't argue with that, but it's not my favorite. It's not the most relaxing place.
Well, but then what is your favorite part? Because you've been here a long time, so you have to like it a little.
I would say that hands down. Obviously, I have a lot of friends here. And initially, when I first moved here, I didn't know much about this place at all, and it was kind of like I just wanted to party and get laid, and that was fine for the first few years. And then eventually, then I started dating people and all that, and I would say that first stint in New York, the first 11 years off and on, I had a lot of uh, I worked all kinds of different jobs. I dated a lot of people, I suppose, some very amazing people and all that, and then and made some amazing friends. But I got really burnt out on it, and eventually, I was at my studio in Brooklyn. That was like in 2018 or 19, and there was a train going by out front, and I was just so utterly depressed. And I remember the train was going by, and I was like, I got like a tear in my eye, and I was like, I really hate this place. It's and I was in a great relationship at the time, but it I knew inevitably I either had to leave or stay for the relationship, which would end in flames if I stayed, or leave, and at least on a somewhat high note. So I went back to Arizona, which was great for about 5 years, right? Which was fantastic. Until after like 2 years, I was like, I need to get my shit together. And I was working at Soleil Fernando's ranch and the Butler's ranch and all that a little bit, and it was so cool and beautiful. And then I was like, but none of this is mine. So I was like, I need to get busy again. So I moved back to New York a little over 2 years ago, and I've been busy ever since, which is
It's
great.
really crazy that it's been 2 years, right?
It is crazy, yeah, and it's been great. I mean, it's been as far as everything goes, it's been great. Work and everything like that, it's been fantastic. I think on a internal, personal part of me, this place can be pretty taxing, but overall, I think it is. I'm now at this point where I see the city as more of a tool, and if I want to utilize it rather than get lost in it, I kind of can see the difference, and I see it for what it is worth, and it's an amazing city. It is hard to live here for a long time, and I leave as much as I can. But I have amazing friends, very supportive friends, and very supportive people, family, and everything. And now it's just for work. I think it makes the most sense to be here, more or less. And obviously, with Monica being here and everything like that, she's very helpful with everything here. But she's now also working with a proper company and everything, so that's initially in my head was going to be a little bit more stressful, but I think it's actually
helping
in a way, yeah, and it's very inspiring in so many ways too. So it's cool. But again, do I care to be in New York forever? Not in particular. Always to have a certain.
So for you, it's more about like just a place where you can accomplish your dreams.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a tool for you to accomplish your dreams.
It's yeah, and it's something that I will never forfeit completely by any means, but I think I will hopefully in time.
You think you were meant to live here?
Forever?
Do you think you were meant to live here? You feel like you were meant to be here?
In a part of me, yeah. And I think it's opened my eyes in so many ways.
Where do you think, because Aris, I feel like in general, like the decisions you make, like you're saying a lot of like, and then I felt like it was time, and then I knew that it was time, or I felt that I needed to do this, right? A lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do feel like it's very true, right? Because like you look at your life and it's like, yeah, you were meant to be in Arizona during that time, right? So do you think that everybody has the ability to do that, or do you think, like, what do you think that is? Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember a long time ago talking to like Soleil and Fernando, and I remember I think Fernando said something, and which is obviously so straightforward, simple, and true. That timing is everything, and I think that like my time spent here before, I really, especially for the first part of it, it was so much. I mean, it was dirty. I mean, it was tons of fun, but it was also New York in a different moment too. I would say. Now the city's changed so much, for better or for worse. That's obviously subjective, but I think me spending that time here and going through everything that I did during that time, I feel like if you don't leave New York, you can really get caught in a situation where you can almost not grow up because it's just so much. It's constant
Stimulation or what?
yeah, and just it's a city of the young and the very rich, and so it's constantly like just re-upping on young and rich people, and so it's easy to kind of get caught in that and lose yourself in who you are. I think that's with any city, but I know it most from being in New York because I've spent the most time here. But I think like myself leaving and being back in Arizona, and all the COVID stuff happened, whatever. I was kind of I came back a couple times during that, but it was sparse, and I think I really just my reason for coming back to New York was not because I wanted to just party and get laid like it had been in the past. It was more moving back with reason, and I had this certain, and I still do have this excitement about being back here. Now, when it comes to like the actual living situation, I don't particularly get excited about that because it's a pain in the ass. It's
and
expensive.
it's an excitement just because there's opportunity and there's an opportunity to use it. Or what
Exactly. That's super. I'll call him.
You should come. Okay, but why do you think that you were led? Like, do you think that God, like, the point is, like, do you think that God leads you? Do you feel like all the decisions you made and the places you've gone?
I would say, yeah.
Or how do you think
absolutely.
you get to decide, okay, in that moment where you're, like, meant to be in Tucson, how did you get led there? Because people stay in the same place. or they don't go to New York, right?
Yeah,
Like
no,
all
of
that is
course.
like not right. So
Yeah, and that's all.
mhm.
That's all. It's all a choice, obviously, and I'm very thankful for you know when I was younger living in Tucson, I loved being in Tucson. I lived in San Antonio, Texas for a while when I was like 16 to 17 or so. And then I moved back. I was dating Alex Stoker for a second, and she ended up passing away. And I remember before
Who
that,
passed away?
Alex Stoker, you would have been probably.
Did I meet her?
No, you would have been. I don't know. I was like 17, 18. How you're.
This is really sad.
Yeah, it was very sad. That was like my first like real experience of a girlfriend, and then she ended up dying. So
While
it
you
was
guys
really
were dating?
yeah. Yeah, no, it was horrible. But
How did that happen?
that's a whole other story. But I up until that point was actually after being in San Antonio for a year. I was so excited to be back in Tucson. And then that happened and then other stuff with other things happened and I kind of had this like, well, what's I don't need to be in Tucson anymore. So then I moved to Portland, Oregon for a bit, helped out with grandma and grandpa till I moved to Tucson. And then I started going to school at Portland State University for a second, right?
Mhm.
Which was very I don't even remember what classes I was taking, but very minimal and working shit job and then I ended up buying the ticket out here and it was sort of like I guess I was probably a little bit depressed in a way, right? Because I had just like found this amazing girl. She's so cool and total babe. And then she ended up dying, and then it was kind of like it was difficult.
Well, yeah.
And then I moved to New York, and I was like, whoa. And I remember talking to grandma one time, and she's like, what do you want to move to New York for? And I remember I told her, I was like, because grandma, I want to party like a rock star. And she's like, are you on dope? And I was like, no, grandma, I'm not on dope. But obviously, I don't know why I want to move to New York. I just don't want to be in Tucson.
Okay, so why do you think if all that happened and like all these things happened that you moved to New York, where do you think like because a lot of people do that and then they kind of get lost in it and then they don't really do it right. They get kind of caught.
Well, I
in
think I
that.
did get kind of caught up and lost in all of it
Wow.
for a minute. And then after time and, kind of just going through headache, heartache, and all the in between, I learned so much. And New York is such a weirdly specific, it's like a petri dish because it's such a big city, so much happening in such a small set place that it almost makes everything feel that much bigger.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, there was so much. I would say that initial like 10, 11 years that I was here were pretty miserable, a lot of it, but also
Really?
just yeah, but
That's
also
so many years.
not miserable, but like
10,
difficult,
11 years.
difficult. Yeah, but also like so many highs and so many lows, but high highs and low lows. And then I was in Paris for a minute, and that was I hated it. That was one of the lowest, but that was in 2009, and I didn't know anyone or speak any French or anything like that. But I will say, I mean, throughout all of everything there, and I'm not like, this, I'm not like the most religious person by any means, but there has always been something, whether, no matter where I am or what's going on, that has helped me in every situation.
And protected you?
Yeah,
Or
one
what?
time I was like stranded in Brussels, and I remember I went out there. I was trying to renew a visa when I was living in London, and they didn't let me back into the UK. And so I didn't have a bank or anything, so I ended up having to stay in Brussels, and I was like totally out of luck. I had $100 bill in my pocket, US, and I was like, I called my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, they didn't let me on the train, and she's like, well, I'm busy. What are you gonna do? And I was like, well, I don't know. She's like, well, I'm busy, so, and my phone's like about to die. I was like, okay, bye. And then I remember I was like, there's a hostel right across the street from the train station. I could definitely get a room there for the night. I was like, or I could just roll the dice and see what happens. So I went back to the bar that I was just at. Ended up having a big night. Met these weird people. And then I was like, wow, I should have just gotten the hostel. And then we're at this weird place, like a clubby kind of thing. And then I'm upstairs falling asleep in this booth, and this couple comes up and talks to me, and the woman's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a place to go tonight or anything." And she's like, "Well, it's my birthday. Why don't you just stay at my place?" And I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, but," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But she wasn't coming on to me. Her boyfriend was right there, and she had her boyfriend take me back to their place just to sleep on their couch and then come back and party. I was like, that is the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's such a random thing. But I was very much like, wow.
Why'd I get taken care of?
Yeah, for nothing. I talked to these people for like 3 seconds, 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think if your heart's where it should be, maybe it's good. Although I always wonder. I don't know.
What?
I think my heart's where it should be, but there's often times where I'm like, hang on, am I doing what I should be doing? Hard to say. We'll see what happens.
With like rodeo and all your stuff, right? Because I feel like the rodeo and all of your art and all your things, honestly, I feel like it's very like you're kind of just like searching for what's true. I think there's a lot of like genuine. That's like kind of a lot of what rodeo is, right? It's very
Trying
like
to be, yeah.
honest, genuine, true.
Yeah.
That's what the whole thing is. So when you're like looking for that, like where do you see God and all that? Because I feel like a lot.
Everywhere.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everywhere. I think particularly when it comes to work or anything that you're fully invested in, I think it's so important to like again, I'm not like super religious, but I definitely pray quite fairly often.
Wait, why don't you think you're super religious?
Well, because I don't go to church or anything like that, but
But what? But what is
although I
like?
was just there.
Yeah, you were just there.
Yeah, we sang green sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
But what?
Okay, we continue. So you pray.
No. I'm just saying though I am not maybe
Typically religious.
or like what might be seen as like a religious person. I don't know whatever that means. Um, I would say I and I don't know. I would say that am I do have the spiritual side or something. I don't know how to say that, but yeah, I think most often, even no matter what I'm doing, I try to check in with myself and with whatever feels correct. And like, even when I go to the strip club or something with some friends, it's like that shit's dirty and gross. And I know that. And I'm not there because I'm like trying to really enjoy it. I'm just there because it's like, it's an experience and I'm not gonna it's not my scene by any means. But I do it just because why like I'm not gonna say no to it because and in my mind it doesn't make me a less uh Christian or whatever person by any means. I know that my heart isn't in that kind of shit, but I don't know. I like to experience stupid things, and I'm not getting lap dances or anything. I'm just going with buddies because I want to go. But they shit. I go to Curves every now and again with my friends in Tucson.
What's Curves?
One of the strip clubs in Tucson.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you gotta pay homage to the women. No, because it's like just kind of like yeah, sure, why not? But is it like? And I tell my mom that, and she's like, yeah, like, which of course, like, why would you go to?
Is your mom really Christian?
Oh yeah.
I think she is, right?
Yeah, she's very Christian.
Because I don't know her.
I know, it's funny. Yeah, no, all my mom's family is like very Christian and very Catholic. So yeah, I mean, I've been raised in that whole thing all my life, and.
So wait, what do you think? Like, what do you think? Do you feel like you're just not religious, but you follow Jesus? Is that kind of what you're saying here? Or you have a relationship with God, but you're not religious? Is that what you're kind of saying?
I would say something like that, and I follow Jesus, and
What do you think's like the big thing that you would think like? Do you think that it's like there's? Okay, where do you see God outside of that, and where do you see God in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think that there's? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
like, where do you see God? Like, why does that kind of turn you off? But then also, where do you see him in there? Do you know what I'm saying? What about
Like,
religion turns you off?
none of it really turns me off.
Really?
No,
And then
I'm
it's just,
probably just
like,
too lazy to like really go
commit
to
to it?
church and stuff. No, I feel like I personally
On your
like
own
deep
part.
inside am committed fully to like, you know, I have so many friends and they're just like full on atheists or whatever, and I'm like, cool, I don't care. It doesn't change the way that I feel personally because I try not to be easily influenced, and I don't, I mean, even like what the other Christmas, 2 Christmases ago, when I went to that weird like satanic ritual thing. It's like, did I enjoy it? Not by any means. I thought it was stupid, but they had free beer, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll see it from the outside. Did I leave pretty quick when they started doing that weird stuff? Obviously, because I was like, I don't really care to be part of it. But with that said, do I try to change people's opinions? No, because I'm kind of like, you know what? To each your own. I have no problem with what anyone believes in. And I know what I believe in and what I find true, and to me that is what makes me me. And no one's I mean that's been me my whole life. And no one who would ever try no one tries to change my opinions on shit anyway because I think I'm pretty easygoing. But no, and even if they did, I'd just be like, cool, water on your back. It's like whatever. But I'm I would say I'm probably not the most Christian person in the sense that like I go to church like I don't know, maybe twice a year. I'll go with my mom every now and again when I'm in Tucson. I'll go here every now and again just like on Easter or whatever. But like it's not the first thing on my mind typically in that sense, going to a place,
And
the
doing
house
that
of
kind
God.
of thing.
But like, you got me that little pocket Bible.
Do you like it?
I love it. And I read that every now and again. The other day, I was over at my buddy's bar and there was someone left like a little pocket prayer book. And I was like, oh, cool. Actually, I thought I had it with me. But, and like when I'm on the plane or whatever, I like to look at that, especially if it gets turbulent or something. Oh, shit, maybe I should pray. But no, but I'm not like, I'm not,
So do you think it's cool that it's like you feel like you still can see God and you still are following God?
totally. And when it comes to work and stuff like that, right? When you're talking about like radio workwear and things like that, I mean, obviously, with when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think creating a product and something that's actually sort of genuine and kind of from and as much as I wish that I was a more like money hungry person because maybe I'd make more money. Unfortunately, I'm not. And I'm not doing most things because I'm trying to particularly profit off of it. Obviously, that is a part of it because you need to. But in a way, when it comes to doing things, whether it's music or radio workwear or whatever, I find just being genuine in general. I personally think that's sort of like almost in a weird way like a Christly sort of thing because it's like I don't really care to try to just jab people for their money or whatever. When it comes to music, like sure, my anything that I write, it's not particularly what I would say. A couple years ago, I was um, in wow, Italy, not Italy. What's the other one? Rocco. What's the other one that's part of Italy? That's not Italy. And his now fiance, and Monica and friends, and they wanted us to play in this chapel, and I was like, so it's my cousin, and I was like, oh, dude, I feel kind of weird performing in this chapel, and he was like, why? And I was like, because some of the stuff that's written in or that's in these lyrics and stuff like that. It's
Isn't
not.
right for the chapel.
Yeah, it feels very kind of like not what I would want to be singing. And he's like, well, I get that, but at the same time, they talk about everything in church, and this is all. They haven't said anything like you haven't written anything worse than what's in the Bible, or and like even though it's said in a different way, it's like that's true. I was like, well, but it did feel.
You know what I think is interesting?
Hmm.
And I think this is the way I see, like, I feel like, because I think, like, you and I think honestly our dad, as much as, like, he, like, whatever, it does real estate, but I don't think he really cares about money. Don't really think he does.
No, I don't think
he would probably make a lot more money if he cared about money.
He definitely could if he wanted to.
Yeah. I just shout him out. He can make so much more money if he wanted to make money. No, but he like could. He's not about money. And I feel like there's something really interesting because then I was talking to this person about how there's like that cowboy kind of feeling of like freedom, right? And that's kind of what Vertigo is kind of based in. There's a lot of that Arizona kind of cowboy thing. And I was talking to someone just thinking about it, and like I was thinking about what's so interesting about that. And then I was thinking about it because I really feel like the whole thing of the gospel and the whole thing about Jesus is the idea that like it's freedom from, not freedom to. And so the idea is like your freedom from, not freedom to. So it's like Jesus is like the whole concept. It's like your freedom from these things, not freedom to these things. And so it's like this like thing of like not holding on to things to be free, but like almost letting them go to be free.
For sure.
Which isn't that? And I thought that was really interesting because I was thinking about the cowboy, and I was like, I think that's why that whatever, just the feeling, the like whatever it is, like the character or the idea is actually very genuine to freedom, because a lot of other things when you think about like freedom, they're like trying to cling on to something to be free.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is like just letting go of things to be free.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I feel like that's why I almost feel like you and Daddy and like whatever you guys, I think that there's a true freedom, and I also think that there's something that of following Christ in that, because it's like a very interesting, like you're not holding on to anything of this world to make yourself more free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's.
And so like whatever, the chapel thing's interesting. The chapel thing is really interesting.
No, but there is a certain kind of like I think just being genuine in general is kind of like a.
But that's like genuine is what? Like what is that?
Honest.
Honest?
Yeah. Which there are so many times where, and even right now in this very moment in my life, I don't know if I'm being completely honest to myself, and not in regards to work or music or anything like that, but there's something that I do need to figure out. I don't know what it is right now.
Wait, what is it?
I don't know. I gotta figure it out. But
wait, so you think it's like all like integrity, like being the person that you were created to be? Is that what you're saying? Is that the genuine
maybe,
thing?
or there's just something that I don't know. This is a sidestep, but I was talking about this the other night with Monica the other day. I was like, something about me doesn't. I need
what would it be?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. But
and there's been periods in life where you don't feel like that at all. You feel like
it's
all genuine.
There's been periods in my life when I've felt completely on track, where my heart, soul, spirit, whatever is all in line. Right now, my heart feels in line, but maybe my soul feels a little off, or something. Something feels a little bit like.
What did Monica say?
She's like, well, yeah, you gotta figure it out. No, I think she was saying I should probably told me to pray about it and probably go see a therapist or something. But that's just something that I need to figure out on my own. That's one of the most genuinely honest moments in my life was when I rode from Tucson to New York, and
you stayed with the Oklahoma people.
Sure, yeah, but that that was like a month-long ride, and it was really just like more than anything, it was the most therapeutic thing I've ever done, and I think it was almost pure meditation.
Yeah.
It was because it's just hours and hours and days by yourself, and I don't. So anyway, when I got to New York, that was 2015. So I left in August 2015, got to New York September 11th, 2015. And I remember I got back It was like shit weather. It was rainy and just gross. I went over to my buddy Jan's place and saw a bunch of people I hadn't seen in a while. But then I, for the next little while, I remember just feeling this sort of incredible amount of peace with myself.
Wow.
And the only other time that I feel like I ever got kind of near that was the first time I went to Argentina when I went to visit Andres with Joaquim, in like after living in Paris for a while, and we were there for a month staying with Wampi, and it was me and Andres and Joaquim kind of traveled all over. Mostly me and Joaquim because Andres was in school. Andres just messaged me actually, but and I was for some reason after that trip I had this weird like, and ever since, I love Argentina and I still do, but like particularly after that trip I had this moment of like peace and almost like I felt just, I don't know if it's enlightened or what, but definitely after that motorcycle trip I was and I've not come near that in a while, and that's why I will do it again, but I want to do anyway a different trip. But that was one of the most like where just like everything felt so like I knew me more than any.
So what do you think you like knew about yourself then? What is something that you feel like you like learned?
I don't know everything about me.
Everything?
Well, just because you have so much time by yourself, thinking, dreaming, doing, it's just you. You're just sitting with yourself, and like you can't really do much because you're just.
Do you feel like in those moments you're also like with God?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Who else are you gonna talk to?
And you feel like very close to him, right?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
It was very. I remember going through New Mexico, and I was like going from El Moro towards Taos. I was meeting up with Jai and his girlfriend Rachel, and I went up from El Moro through Grants, through Whitehorse, through all this, and then over towards Cuba, New Mexico. Anyway, it was such a beautiful ride, and I remember like riding from El Moro in the morning. And it was cool too because I remember sleeping out there, and there was a mountain lion, like on this like little small plateau thing. It was beautiful, and just waking up and seeing that, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Then getting on my bike and just riding north, and the leaves were kind of changing or something. And I just remember I just had like tears streaming down because I was so like in love with everything. Wow. It was like so beautiful. And the rest of that trip was incredible too.
Do you think in those moments where you're like in these long periods with just you and God, do you think you've heard him? You think so?
I think so.
What have you heard him say?
Well, I don't know. Just like keep going.
Really?
Yeah. Especially when it's kind of like a little bit, when it can be, when you feel things are daunting.
Like when you feel you can't make it through or something.
Like something feels
and
not
he's being
good.
like, you can make it through.
Yeah. And it's very like, oh. All right.
And
like what we were talking about earlier, how Arnold Schwarzenegger, he
visualizes.
Yeah. And I don't remember where I was. I think I might have been it was after Oklahoma or something. And I couldn't picture what the rest of my trip was going to look like. Or maybe it was Tennessee. But anyway, I just remember I was like, I would sit there in the morning and I would look at the map, okay. And then I would just like sit and think. And then maybe I'd go to a diner, grab a coffee, and then sit and think. And then just kind of try to like
visualize what's next.
Completely.
So cool.
So that you can, because in my opinion, if you can see it, then it will be. It's just like a matter of like, I don't know, seeing it, I guess.
You think so?
I think so. And also,
why do you think that would be?
I don't know, but I remember also at a certain point, I was like, I have no idea what the fuck any of this stuff coming up is gonna look like, but I do know what New York's gonna look like, so I know I will make it back there, and all the stuff in between is gonna be a surprise. But I did try to see it when I slept in a cornfield out near Warsaw. I think it was Warsaw, Pennsylvania, and it was like it was terrifying actually. I mean, it was so spooky because I'm looking at the map. I didn't have phone service, so I'm looking at the map and I'm like, okay, and it was all this Amish territory or something, you know. And I'm like, okay, there looks to be a KOA up here, so I go up to this KOA. Like KOA is like campsite or something. And I go up there, and there's like all these. It felt like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was like all these tents and trailers, and everything set up looking like people were hanging out, and with like drinks on the table and everything. And I get there, I pull in, and it's like kind of in this wooded area, but it's all carved out. Wow, I totally forgot about all this actually. And I ride in and I'm like on my motorcycle and I see tents, trailers, all this shit. Looked like people were all hanging out there. Like, fold out chairs and everything. And I'm riding through and I'm like, there's no one here. And
Ghosts or what?
huh?
What do you think?
I don't know if they were abducted or what, but there was no one there. There was like imagine like little Airstream trailers and stuff like that.
Ooh, that's so
like
creepy.
like a campground, a KOA campsite kind of thing. And I'm not even kidding. Probably 10 tents that were all set up with like, you know, mats outside with, chairs outside and all of these little Airstream trailers and not a soul. And I just remember like putting through there and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna stay here. And it was starting to rain. And I was like, okay, I'm definitely not gonna stay here. This even though it showed KOA on the map, I was like, I'm getting the shit out of here. So I turn around and I go towards the main road, the whatever, the little state road. And I'm about to turn onto it, and then I see this weird little path that goes like into this cornfield, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go down that and see where I end up. And so,
where would you end up? A random place?
Just in the middle of the cornfield.
You went to sleep?
Yeah, I set up a tent and went to sleep. It was creepy too because oh my gosh, the wind and the rain that night was ferocious. It was crazy, but it was fine.
So you're saying you kind of visualize your way out?
Yeah,
of
I didn't picture that though. but otherwise, that was my last night before I got
like, and that when you're really scared, what do you do? Just
I say a little prayer and try to sleep. Although I didn't sleep much that night. It was too cold, too wet, and too windy. The wind, it was like out of a movie. It was like the Children of the Corn kind of thing. It was and lightning and everything. It was horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, in a cornfield, and the corn was just all like banging on my tent and stuff. It was a terrible. It was really spooky, but like it was spooky in terms of the fact that all this.
Did you feel that scared?
No, because that's the thing. It was very spooky in the sense of like maybe a scary movie kind of thing. But like in reality, I was like, I'm in a cornfield. It's windy and it's rainy and there's lightning.
Nothing can really happen.
Fact is, unless I get struck by lightning, there is actually nothing. Like, yes, I have all these thoughts in my head that create this sheer terror. But I'm like, and you say a prayer and it's like, all right, come on, let's just level it out a little bit. And then it's kind of like you're met with a little bit of like, yeah, who cares? And then the corn's banging on the tent, and you're just
like, that's probably God right there, helping you.
Banging on the tent?
No, like helping you go to sleep.
Yeah, of course. I mean, not to say that I did sleep much that night at all, because
but giving you a sense of just like it's fine.
Yeah, of course.
What do you feel like right now? What do you feel like if you could imagine God trying to talk to you about or tell you?
Probably saying, Aris, you need to figure out your soul. I don't know. A lot that I need to figure out.
Think so?
Internally, yeah. But like not in a negative way per se. Like in an exciting way. And
Do you think you need to figure it out?
yeah, I do, and I will. I have no choice. But I think, you know, right now, more than anything, and I don't know. This is what I was talking about the other night with Monica too. I was like, I don't know if it means more prayer. I don't know if it means going to the sweat lodges and all that.
What's a sweat lodge?
Like when you in the oh man at the on the reservation.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's super crazy. But beautiful. It's amazing.
Okay, so
it's
like go through like a crazy like
yeah. I don't know if it
experience.
means maybe I should I feel like mushrooms oftentimes helps me in a way too. And honestly, I feel like that's very spiritual kind of thing too. I don't know. Maybe ayahuasca. I've never really been too driven to it, but I am a little bit more interested these days, or iboga, or I don't know. But maybe I just stopped drinking for a while. Who knows? But maybe I just gotta keep going to this Catholic church a little bit more, or a little bit of everything.
Probably
But
not.
the what?
Probably not a little bit of everything.
Maybe not a little bit of everything.
I mean, honestly, I think it's the thing where it's like, do you think that God could? Because I feel like the whole thing and the only thing like the way that I see all of it and like the way I see Jesus is like He does it for you. You don't have to do much of it.
That's true.
And so it's a lot of surrendering to Him and letting Him do it for you.
I agree. I'm just so stubborn.
But then that's it, right? So then like all the dramas of all that other stuff, it's really just like letting Him do it.
That's true.
He wants to do. He knows. Well, I think the whole thing is He knows exactly what is going on and He knows exactly how to fix it.
And that's probably true. But where's the fun in that?
Oh, it's probably so fun. It's probably so fun.
Yeah, probably.
It's probably insanely fun. Because I feel like the thing is, it's like, well, I think it's really interesting because Jesus wasn't religious, right? Because he like that's the whole point. Like he came to like end religion. So the fact that like it's really interesting because a lot of his life is just an adventure where he was not with a home, which is a lot like what you're talking about. Every single thing you're talking about. He didn't have a house. Like he didn't have a home. The whole thing is him going through life without something. Nomadic. He's very nomadic, and then he comes to pretty much be like, religion's not a thing. We can't like religion's not the thing. And then pretty much you just like follow me, and that's kind of what you're doing, but you're not surrendering it to it. It's kind of something like I feel like that's you, Aris, and I feel like your life's very religious, very following of God.
I try to. I think so. Yeah. No. I mean.
Because I think that's also I think that's a big thing that's really hard. It's really hard to be like this. He's gonna help me without me helping myself, kind of thing.
No, it's very interesting, but it's exciting. Overall. Are you excited?
For everything?
Yeah. You should be.
I think it's gonna be really exciting.
You guys just got engaged.
I know. What do you think? What do you think's like the closest experience you've ever had with Jesus? Where have you seen him the most?
Well, I mean, in every day, but also, you mean like intense experiences?
Yeah, have you had any intense experience?
I mean, yeah, I think he saved my ass in so many things. One time when I was when I was going through Ukraine with Tom and Harry, we were
with like Liz.
She wasn't there, but yeah, with it. Well, it wasn't necessarily with but yes, it was with Siobhan's Trust, but we were in. Well, one night we were in Venezia, which was really cool. But the next night or the next day we went to this small town near Pervomaisk. I don't remember what it was called. It was in the Mykolaiv Oblast, which means I don't know what. But it was really cool. I felt like Anthony Bourdain. It was so cool. We were in this tiny town, and we were feeding all these people, probably like 1,000 people, which wasn't crazy, but it was it's a good amount of people, and we're just giving them pizzas and everything, and they kept on. Well, then this woman Anna, who was like, she was the woman that kind of was setting up these places on the like on making a route for everything to feed these people, and she was like, okay, let's you guys need to have lunch. So then we stop and have lunch. It was so good. It was like really good borscht and everything. This is totally getting off topic, but then then oh wow, they brought out this homemade vodka, this big ass jar of homemade vodka, and I seriously felt like Anthony Bourdain. But they were telling all these really sad stories about all these young girls getting raped and murdered and stuff like that by just right over there. And I was like, wow. And then I remember we that night we slept in this really beautiful but kind of creepy old insane asylum or so. Or no, it was an old hospital, but very old Soviet style hospital. And it was me, Tom, and Harry, and they set us up, and we all had like our own rooms, kind of thing. And I was like, this is cool but creepy, and it was very close to, I guess, the front line of Russia and all that, which was really interesting. So, and actually, what's funny about this story is the fact that realistically, there was one point. So we had all like had enough homemade vodka at this point to just like be finding the Holy Spirit everywhere. But I remember, um, it was pretty late, and it was like a stormy night, and me and Tom and Harry. Well, Harry was in the other room. Anyway, we were. You could hear what sounded like gunfire and everything like that, which would make sense. But I think it was actually just the storm and everything. But I remember having this moment. I went down to the truck, and I was like, before the storm really hit, there was these two girls playing in the street, and I just had this moment of like utter sadness because I was like, wow, this could be the end of this little town, and like these people who all live here are probably just like who knows. And I remember I just like had this like intense sadness, and I was like, and I just like I just started praying and stuff. I was like, how can this? And then like that happened with the storm, and then the next morning we were like, that was just thunder. Oh well, it could have been gunfire too, but we were like, that's just thunder. Yeah. And then but it was like very like just so I felt so heavy and sad, and then but I also felt like uplifted in a weird way too. Just sort of like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But it was really, I don't know why that moment sticks out a lot.
Was it just like compassion, like a really deep compassion for them?
Yeah.
That you.
Which I rarely feel. No, but then the next.
It was probably just a really deep compassion for them. That's like you.
Oh, it was intense, and especially after being around these people all day, and that whole trip, that one, and then the next time I was down there, shit, we were in Kiev, and I remember waking up at like 5:30 in the morning or something. This explosion, and me and this Spaniard guy, coolest guy ever. I can't remember his name right now, but we're like, and he's in his bed. He's like, "Did you feel that?" And I was like, "Absolutely." It's like, damn. And then you hear another explosion a little bit further away. But then we went down to Kharkiv, and then from Kharkiv we were basing out of there, and then going up to some of these towns. Towns. I mean, they'd been decimated by by shelling or whatever. And but what was so interesting, and it's such like it puts you in your place so much. It's like these people have gone through absolute hell. Yeah. They've lost friends, family, homes, everything. Yet they are still just like living. Yeah.
Going through.
Yeah. And they are like they're smiling, they're laughing, they're joking, and it's like, wow, you hear their stories and everything. It's like, wow, you guys are like, they're built tough, which is incredible, but also it says a lot about like, you know, like you have a lot. If you want to really like get into it, you can get past a lot. And then you hear all the fancy rich people that they're on antidepressants and stuff like that because of God knows why. But anyway, yeah. What was the question?
I guess it was like one experience that you really saw Jesus, but I guess it sounds like compassion, Aris.
You know what?
When you've seen him and he talked to you.
No. But this one time, last story. But do you remember when I did that walk from?
Yeah, your like spiritual like
in the Galuros.
Vision quest, yeah,
in the Galuros, not the one, not the. Anyway,
the one where you you didn't have enough water. Is that one? Yeah.
And that one, I swear.
You saw Jesus.
Well, not physically, but wow. That was one of the most, and I hadn't seen or talked to anyone for 5 days, which is interesting, right? Because I like solitude and everything like that, but not having the option to talk to anyone, it's different.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to talk to people, but I couldn't. And I was like in such beauty, but in a way it felt like a jail cell because I was like, I didn't say, I told my mom I was going hiking for a few days. I didn't say anything. Anyway, then I got kind of turned around. And then in the Galuros, there's no reception whatsoever. And
so you're really, alone.
Beyond alone. I've never been so alone in my entire life. And it was such, and I actually, like, what? I don't know many people that have, honestly. And that's not me, like, tooting my own horn, but that was crazy. But then when I was coming back, I couldn't find how to get back. And the water had dried up and everything. And I was like, wait a second, where am I? And I started to, like, really, like, panic. And this was after 5 days. And I was like, I have no idea where I am. I have a paper map and a compass and no reception, anything. And then I remember I was like, I talked to Jesus. I was like, Lord, please, I am so lost right now. And Soleil was about to give birth. I was like, I need to be there for Soleil giving birth to her first kid. And I was like, I started to like cry a bit, and I was like, and I just like got.
Do you think you were gonna die?
I didn't know. I was honestly, and I that's probably one of the most specific times that I've ever really felt so.
Wow.
And I just was like, oh my God, what have I done? And had like no water. And then I sit down on the ground and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. And I look back and there's a tree that has like a V in it. And the day that I had gone down to the little riparian area we were sleeping on the plateau, which is about a mile hike down.
Were?
Me, Fernando, and Jesse.
Okay.
And we hiked down. Maybe a mile. I don't know, probably less. But and there was this stream and everything going, and it was me, Jesse, and Fernando. And I remember me and Fernando were on the sandy beach of this little stream, and he's showing me on the map. He's like, dude, just walk up the canal. Just go straight. You'll get to Klondike in a couple days. In like 5 days, I was like, all right, great, easy. And we're all hungover and everything. I was like, yeah, great. Okay, I can do it. And I remember Jesse sitting on leaning on the V of this tree, throwing the stick for the dogs, for Bonnie and Clyde into the. And I look back and I was like, wait a second. But keep in mind, the water was all dried up. And I was like, I know that V. Jesse was hanging out right there. Me and Fernando were right here on the sandy beach of the stream. And I look back and I see this pole, this whatever, Arizona spoon, whatever, century sticking out of the ground because it was kind of covered. And I was like,
I know where I am.
After I had just like I sent out like a Hail Mary. I was like, please. And I saw that and I was like, I started crying. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And I remember I had like these sticks and I have a heavy ass pack and I'm like looking like a dead spider crawling up this. And I got up to the top and I was like, oh my God. And I called Soleil and Fernando and everybody and I was like, you guys come get me whenever you can. Because once I got up there, I had reception and I was like, that was horrifying. Anyway, you guys got to get to church.
No, we do. Okay, this was great, Aris. But okay, if you had to say just like so it sounds like honestly like God's just with you. He's protecting you. He's taking care of you. Like that's what it is, right?
I think so.
But if you were to say like the way you mainly see God, where would it be?
You know, probably in everything. Like any question I have, I mean, I feel like it's almost just like a natural thing to be like. Not that I'm intentionally talking to God by any means, but it's more just like, should I bike or should I take the train?
Well,
it's like, okay, I'll take the train. And I know it's gonna take longer, but whatever. But like, I feel like with everything, anytime I'm driving, I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna haul ass, and then I'm like, okay, thank you, Lord, I almost hit that guy. Or like anything.
You think it's because you're listening?
Well, I try to, and I don't know. I feel like in a way it's just your conscience too. It's like your conscience is almost like, God telling you like, dude, like you don't want to do that or like yeah, sure, go for it, but you're an idiot for doing it kind of thing. And I think that's like
what I think you do, what you are. I feel like you are very you've like gone because you do all these experiences where it's really hard and really terrible and really like just like it sounds right. I mean honestly, right? Like the hiking thing, the cornfield, like all these things are things that people don't do because why would they do them? Like
yeah.
honest, right? And I think what you do is a lot of like I feel like what you do is a lot of like getting to like the rawness of who you are because you want to feel that.
Yeah.
And I think that there's God there.
That's probably true.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what you kind of do, and that's why you do that, and that's why when you go on these like big, whatever motorcycle things, and you're motorcycling, it's like you're just getting to the rawness of who you are, and that's who God created you to be, and there's God with you right there, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think at the end of the day, it's like sometimes I'll just be like in 3 years, I want to do a big ride. I'm not a motorcycle guy, but I want to do a big ride down to South America. I think that sounds so fun, and I've been thinking about it ever since I did the one out here, and it came up during dinner, and I was like, because Tag was asking me where I want to go
next,
see in Mexico, and I was like, well, everywhere, but I want to go throughout the whole thing, and I think for me the question is always kind of like, well, what's the worst that can happen? And the initial response to that is
die.
You die. But like that's not the worst.
Why is that the worst though?
Well, because I would imagine that if I die, I'll probably go to a pretty cool place.
And why do you think so?
Because I'm a pretty, I don't know, spiritually solid guy, I think. I mean, that's not to say that I'm not an absolute sinner, left and right, but like also, regardless of everything and anything, I still try to maintain. And there's been so many times where I have pushed it, and it doesn't feel right, and it's like, and I can think of too many, and that's probably why I need to kind of like get back to a certain sort of consciousness. But anyway, besides the point. But yeah, I'm like, whatever I'm gonna do, sure, the worst thing would be to die. But like that's not really the worst thing. The worst thing, in my opinion, is not like,
not to do it, not to live,
not to do it, and if you do it, hurt someone else, or get severely maimed, in which case you are just like, it you can't function in general. In which case, I would just take it. But anyway, but I think like realistically, on paper, it's like do it and risk the chances of potentially, death or whatever, or like the reverse, which is like not doing it, and then you just feel like, why didn't
I do it?
Yeah,
it's like just not letting fear rule your decision.
Yeah, but it's also like in my mind, if the latter side that I do, or if a person dies, first of all, it's not the end of the world. The world keeps turning. But like I think, and I, for whatever reason, feel like I'm pretty like what would happen to me is
you're not afraid of dying because you feel like you have a good relationship with God. That's what you're kind of saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that like what do you imagine happens when you die?
Shit, I don't know. We'll have to find out.
You're not scared.
Not in particular. Can't be worse than this. No, New York is fine. No, I don't know. I'm not in any rush to find out, but we'll see what happens.
There it is.
Life is for the living.
Why do you think it's all about Jesus?
Well, yeah.
I think if you don't know Jesus, you'd actually probably don't go.
Well, and I think Jesus lives inside of you, and like it's what makes you live. He, she, whatever. It's like I feel like I have a certain sort of confidence in a lot of things because I'm like, well, I have Christ on my side or whatever. Which is what better? Well, what else do you want? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
This is the Christmas episode.
This is the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's just you can go into anything fearful if you have Jesus.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you got, then you're basically invincible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this guy I met a long time ago, Dally Boy. He's like an Instagram, like, really, I met him at one of the Midland shows a while ago. And one of the nicest guys ever. Or at least he seemed very nice when I met him. But he's like a very Christian cowboy influencer kind of thing.
The best.
Oh no, he's super sweet. But it's funny because I saw one of his videos the other day, and he's like, "Hey man, what I got right here is I got my sword, and
it's true,
and it's Bible." And I was like, "That's it's very yeah."
Well, the whole thing that's interesting is because what is interesting is like when you do something like that and you're getting really raw, the whole entire gospel is all about how it's like you have to die to live. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And that's what you're kind of doing, I think. And then I feel like that's why you feel like you're close to Jesus, because when you think about it, a lot of people are living out of like nobody's dying to live. They're just like living to live, and then you're constantly in this like, well, just like you're not connected, right?
No, it's kind of boring.
And it's a dying to live, but in that's freedom. So that's what you're doing, Aris. And that's why you feel close to Jesus, I think.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, I feel like it's going to be exciting because I feel like it's like recognizing that that's what it is. And then that's like even more exciting, right?
I agree. No, I just got to be more...
Well, no, it's like just recognize it. That's it, because it's already done. It's already been there.
No, it's very exciting. Life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. So we'll see what happens next.
It's gonna be super good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Aris.
On the
love you.
Next episode, we'll talk about
how he wrote a gospel album next Christmas.
Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Congratulations to these two right here. Rocco, get in the photo. Yes, one last time.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Amen. Okay,
that's a still right there.
Aris, thank you.
Duh, yeah, thank you. That was fun.
I think that was so good.
Oh my gosh.
I do think that's true. I actually really do think that's true. I think that honestly, Aris, I literally feel like, that's the thing. That's what I actually think is true.
At least you guys got to sit on the bed.
What?
I
Did you
know.
like hearing Aris's entire life?
Yeah.
Oh, that was only part of it. What are you talking about? Are you guys actually going to church right now?
Is it?
Is it
You
over?
missed it?
Definitely missed it.
I thought it was till 11:30. Oh wait, it is 11:30.
11:30.
Wait,
I thought it was to midnight. I mean, I thought it was 10:30 to midnight.
let's go check.
We'll see how long it lasts.
We can go check.
We can catch the last couple
This
minutes.
was worth
We gotta
it.
go quick.
This was worth it.
Yeah, no.
You
Let's
coming
go.
with or no?
I'm supposed to go
Yeah,
meet up with
fine.
Super. Let me see. He called me. And Andres is.
Cool.
Sticking out of the ground with there's